Hi everyone, it's Melissa from Welcome to the Woods. Last week I shared how we redid our porch floor, and this week I'm going to share what we did to fix up the railings, the posts, and the ceiling on the porch. Here you'll see that I am covering blemishes. This porch really was not in great shape. And so these are holes that were drilled once upon a time, I think, to run electrical cord underneath the porch ceiling. And so I'm filling them with little blocks of wood that I cut, and I'm using a rubber mallet to hammer them into the hole just to fill it enough that I can fill it then with wood putty and get it flush. I filled numerous areas all over this bulkhead along the top of the porch ceiling because there were so many blemishes and holes. So after I did all of that wood puttying, I also came across, pulled down like these little Christmas lights that I had up, and took out things like hooks that were once used for hanging plants. And there were like random nails and screws sticking out in a lot of areas. I'm just going to get everything prepped so I can sand and repaint this area. This is the only part of our porch makeover that's not going to get a new finish. Is like this bulkhead and then the ceiling. So I want to make it look really good. This is a good trick if you don't have a head of the screw that you're trying to pull out. The head had broken off of this screw, and I just pulled it out by tightening my chuck on my drill around the screw and then reversing it. Came out like a charm. So again, filling wood putty all over, and when the wood putty was dry, I came in and I started to sand. Drying went really fast. As you can probably tell from my outfit, it was pretty hot. Working on this in the summer, 8 months pregnant, was definitely a sweaty experience. But I'm glad that we were able to get this porch done and upgraded, so it's just one less thing I have to think about after the baby's here. I used my random orbital sander to sand all the wood putty smooth when it was dry, and finally it was time to refinish these parts of the porch that were once full of blemishes and make them look great. This is me slapping some primer on there. I used Kills primer, and I'll link it in the description on this video. All the products that I use, as always, will be in the description. And then you can see that I'm doing a lot of brush work. That's because I'm only going to be painting specific parts, and although I'm keeping it white, I needed to make sure that I got all the brush work done before I rolled. The paint I'm using is the same paint that I did on the front porch makeover, which you might have seen. I'm going to apply it with this 4-inch mini roller with a 3/8-inch nap. That's kind of my favorite, just like most versatile rolling system because you have so much control and accuracy. But the paint is like a bare stain blocking, excellent hide and excellent adhesion exterior semi-gloss paint in just plain white. And I did this on the posts on our front porch and made them look brand new. So that was kind of the same plan for this porch. Now, once I get all of these bulkheads and the ceiling painted, I am going to have my neighbor jump in and help again. We had hired him to do the floor on this porch, and it just was easier to kind of wrap in the railings and the posts with that project. Hilariously, I didn't want to dirty another normal 9-inch roller because this 4-inch roller was working so good on the bulkheads. I decided to just attach this to an extension and use this tiny 4-inch roller across the ceiling as well. Definitely not efficient, but it did save me some cleanup time. Okay, so once the ceiling was done, it's time to tackle the railings and the post wrap situation. So here's my neighbor John with a reciprocating saw removing the old railings, which were just screwed into the 6x6 posts. If you watched my last video on the porch floor, you know that when we kind of demolished this porch, we found a lot of rot and issues with how the posts were supported from underneath. So we fixed all that by building up a new joist system, and you can see in this clip here like part of that process, but also just how bad of shape the wood was on the 6x6 posts. Although they were structurally sound, they had so many blemishes and cracking from settling over time and from having an unstable base to sit on. So this clip here is showing the post wrap. We had an awesome sponsor in Superior Plastics. It's the same company that I worked with for our vinyl maintenance-free fencing in our backyard. They sent us these post wraps, which are specially made for 6x6 posts and come in 4 pieces that have ridges, and they kind of clamp in together. They kind of mesh together. So here you'll see John putting together 2 pieces before putting it against the post, kind of getting that groove started. And then we apply the other 2 pieces in succession until the whole 6x6 post is wrapped in this thin vinyl that makes it look like brand new. This way I didn't have to do any of the wood filling, sanding, painting, etc. Here's a close-up clip and you can see how these connect together with the grooved channel. And then if they're not going together like easily, which we had this issue because our posts were slightly warped, then all John did was tap on them lightly with a rubber mallet and they clicked into place. You can buy these at Superior Plastics with the link in the description, and they make them for post sizes like 4x4, 6x6, 8x8, etc. So now John moved on to cutting their railings. The railings we have from Superior Plastics are very sturdy because they have aluminum on the inside of the vinyl on both the top and bottom, as well as aluminum spindles. So that is why he's using his big like cement saw. It's because it has a diamond blade on it that can cut through the aluminum. And one thing that we were really cognizant about when measuring where to cut these is that the spindle holes that are pre-built into the bottom and top railing have an even spacing so that when the spindles go in, it looks intentional along like between the 2 posts. Does that make sense? So it's great to measure twice and cut once. The railings get attached into your posts using these collars. They're kind of like little joist hangers. They go on each end of the railing, and then you're supposed to hoist the railing 2 inches off the ground. We just used a 2x4 underneath there to get the spacing right, and then screw in these vinyl brackets into your posts to hold the railing in place. Next, we just pop the spindles, which are like a squarish aluminum black spindle, into the holes that are already in the railing, and then we're going to fit the top piece over. So both John and I were like really impressed with how quickly the railings came together and how easy and straightforward they really were. It's important though when you're putting on your railing that you have like the handrail as the top. There's a kind of a piece that's wider. It's just wide enough for you to like place a drink on or something like that, and make sure that that is the top rail, and then that you have your collars that, you know, the brackets that screw into the posts already on there, as well as the covers for them to cover up the screw heads. And I'll show a close-up of that right here. I like that in this design, no hardware is actually visible. Everything is covered with the vinyl. It also makes things much more maintenance free. On both the top and bottom of the post wrap, there was a small gap. I ended up just caulking. However, Superior Plastics kit does come with skirts for the top and bottom. They just didn't fit in my case because the posts were so close to the edge of the bulkhead, as well as close to the edge of the floor on the bottom. To put some finishing touches on this porch makeover, I'm also going to install brand new lighting. This chandelier I got is damp rated, which I thought would be great for our outdoor porch that is fully covered. Obviously, you would want to choose a more exterior light fixture if yours was going to be steadily exposed to rain, but this one said that it would be safe for my use. The light fixture that was out there before was just terrible. It was tiny and fully enclosed with just one bulb, and it really did not fill up the space like I hoped it would. I actually have it centered on the ceiling, so if this chandelier goes to plan, it's going to hang down and be visible when you're looking at the porch like straight on. I think it's going to look so beautiful. So the bummer about it is that I ordered matte black, but it came in like a gray color. However, I do like the design, so I went to work hanging that up. Is it just me, or is electrical terrible? I feel like it always takes me so much longer than I expect, and this was like I think it took me 2 hours to install this thing. I was getting so hot up there, I had to throw my hair up. Anyway, I finally got the chandelier done, and I think it is much better proportioned to my porch. I'm also going to be refinishing the red table I have on there. It's just a very simplistic, not very well built wooden table my friend gave me once upon a time. The top was in bad shape, so I just shot it with some of my favorite Rust-Oleum 2 times the cover spray paint. I will link this product below because I really like this color red, and I think this is going to be a great pop of color in my porch design. Styling a finished space is always relaxing and really fun for me. It feels like a celebration of the hard work that I've put in to make this porch nice, and I couldn't have done it without the help of our neighbor, John, as well as obviously the help of our sponsor, Superior Plastics. I think that the new railings really modernized the porch, and oh my gosh, the post wraps made the biggest difference in how nice the posts look. I love the chandelier hanging down and the colors, how they go with our new flooring as well. I just could not be happier with how our porch turned out. I hope that this video was helpful for you and that you were impressed as well. If you really liked it, leave me a comment below and let me know what you thought of this project. I actually have one more thing coming up on this porch that I want to fix. Kind of became an eyesore when I had everything else looking this nice. So let me know in the comments below if you have a guess what I'm going to work on next. And if you follow me on Instagram, you already know. My husband and I have spent many evenings out here dining and enjoying each other's company. I'm really, really happy with this beautiful little spot to enjoy the outdoors at our home. Thank you for watching Welcome to the Woods. If you enjoy home DIY and decor, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and we will see you again in a couple weeks with my next video.